commercial break, man. Is that cool with y'all fellas? Because something about this team, man, after losing 3 games in a row, they found a way to beat the Giants, man. They told them, man, we leaving here with something. And that's exactly what they did. They left there with a couple flags that should have been thrown, but I ain't gonna say too much about it. The Eagles found a way to win a shootout with the New York Giants with both their quarterbacks. They won 33-25. I don't know if it was Tyrod or if it was DeVito, but at the end of the day, the Eagles found a way to win this game, coming off that 3-game skid, and still can win the NFC East. As long as they went out. Technically, the destiny's in their hands. So I'm gonna say their name 3 times, and get my reaction. I'm gonna really ask myself this question because I always ask Eagles fans this, and none of them seem to give me an answer outside of AJ. Shout out to you, AJ. What do you feel about your team knowing that they're playing the way they've been playing? You know, you come off of your gauntlet. What is their record? Like 5-3 coming off the gauntlet. Technically, you know, they went out and beat a few teams here and there. Their record is now 11-4. But I always ask them, like, how do you feel about this team? Because if you judge your performance of how y'all played last year versus this year, it's a totally different team. And in the NFL with the cap and everything, you know, rosters are bound to change. But when your core nucleus is there, a lot of it shouldn't change to the drastic measures that this has changed. Yesterday, the crowd started chanting, run the ball, run the ball. Eagles started running the ball. That's technically what changed the fate and fortune of this game because once they started listening and actually handing the ball off to Gainwell, who had 42 yards, and then handing it off to Swift, who found 92 yards, and Hurts using his legs here and there for 34 yards, it actually helped them get the momentum back. Because when you keep passing the ball, bad things are bound to happen, like a pick six. They got the Giants back in the game when you were supposed to take the lead. I think it was 10-7 at that point. That would have been 17. Like, come on now, easy. But now the Giants are back in it. Or your 76 passing defense, giving up big plays to Tyrod Taylor, who came in after DeVito got benched. It's just a lot of things that's happening. A lot of players are now going back to the locker room saying, like, we just happy we won this game, but there's a lot of things to fix. But technically, I still don't know who the Eagles are. Are they John Doe? They playing like it because I don't know this team, but they winning. So technically, they might be my man Jason Bourne. They out here just beating people and disappearing. That's just what it is. That's what I learned from that. And the Giants, ain't too much to say about the Giants, man. Tyrod Taylor should have been y'all backup the whole time. I don't know why y'all was playing. Y'all let DeVito come in there and go on his insanity run. Now all I can say is Mamma Mia. Dave.
So I like the question you asked, Tomo. How do we feel about the Eagles right now? Are they the second best team in the NFC? Are they the third best? Are they the fourth best? I don't know. They're not the best. I think that's clear. But what are they going to do with this team? Like, what are you expecting for them to do when they get to the playoffs? They're in the playoffs, so we know that they're either going to be the 2 seed or the 5 seed. We don't know. So I want to ask another question. I think we've asked this before. What is Eagles football? What is y'all best? It is now week 17. And you won a close game to the Giants, a team that the Cowboys blew out, the Niners blew out, that a lot of teams are blown out. I get it. This is a divisional game, but you're playing against Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor. You should be able to beat these teams without any hesitation. And they pretty much were picking your defense apart. At some point, this is just exactly what y'all are. Y'all are a team that's going to give up a lot of yards through the air, and y'all going to allow points that way because y'all can't stop anybody from throwing the ball on y'all. You're not getting enough pressure up front with your front seven. You went and signed Shaq Leonard, which is, you know, he's going to come to form. I don't think Shaq Leonard has lost a step, honestly. That's just a situation that happened in Indianapolis. But is that going to help out everything else? Is that going to help out with your pass coverage? I don't think so. Mac Jones picked that defense apart. Sam Howell picked that defense apart. I can go on and on about all these teams that picked your defense apart, and it continues to happen. When you get into the playoffs, quarterbacks are better than those quarterbacks that I just named. You got Jared Goff, who's liable to throw the ball on you a lot. You already played Dak Prescott. He could do it. Baker Mayfield showed that he could do it as well. Even though you won that game 25-11, that's a team that you may have to think about. You still got the Vikings who are in position to try to get to come in there. If you play the Vikings, are they? I'm not saying that you're going to lose to the Vikings, but how are you going to look against this team? What are your expectations? Y'all said that y'all focused on winning. You're focused on getting back to the Super Bowl. I don't see a Super Bowl team right now. I see a playoff team for sure, but I don't see a team that's going to get back to the Super Bowl because a lot of things that are happening are not what was what was happening for you last season. You could rely on that defense and your offense. You had a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense. Your offense is still there, but they have questions now because sometimes your offense isn't always there because your offense wasn't there against Seattle, and Seattle was able to actually come back and win that game. Now your offense was there against the Giants, but your defense wasn't there. So it's like no matter what game it is, you got one part that shows and one part that doesn't. So there hasn't been a game this year where your team has been consistent on both sides of the ball. So this Eagles team, I don't know what y'all are expecting right now, but I'm telling you, for me, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a Niners fan, but I don't see how you're gonna win the NFC and get back to the Super Bowl. I don't see it. I don't see it.
All right. So Eagles now.
Finally. Sorry.
Okay. Like you gotta look at it like this, y'all. The Eagles have been on a 3-game losing streak. So their first win after 3-game losing streak is gonna be like, like a relief. Like, okay, we got it done. Now I'm curious to see how they're gonna look next week. So when I watched that game, the first half, Eagles football. They were a well balanced team. They were running the ball and throwing the ball. They were doing both well balanced. They scored the most points they scored all season in the first half, 20. All right, looking good. And then in the second half, with the lead, pass, 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 pass. I mean, Jalen Hurts threw the ball 38 times, and they were up most of the game. Why? Why are you throwing the ball? I keep saying this. Jalen Hurts is not at best when he's throwing the ball a million times. He's at best when he's playing off the run game. But no, this offensive coordinator the Eagles got keep falling in love with throwing the ball, which I don't understand. Like this running the ball, you got one of the best offensive lines. They haven't been playing as good as they were last year, but you still have one of the best offensive lines in the league. And you have Swift is a good running back, right? And Gainwell has been good for y'all also. But a good sign for the Eagles is that down the stretch, what do? Hey, Swift, Swift. It was one point when Swift lost yards on back-to-back plays, and on third down they did throw a screen, but they played it safe. But they were running the ball. Swift carried on that last drive. So I don't really want to talk about the defense. The defense is what it is. All right. Like I'm not expecting that defense to. They do make timely stops. They have make timely plays. They get turnovers at the right time. But the offense not doing them any favors by turning the ball over. You already know your defense is not forcing turnovers. The offense is turning the ball over at a higher rate this year. That pick six was ridiculous. Slipping that was crazy. That changed the whole game. Gave the Giants all the momentum. And the fumble on the special teams, like, come on. So the Giants should have never been in that game. You up 20-3 at the link. The link? Come on, man. So, but I want to see how the Eagles look next week because I had a feeling that I knew they were going to win, but I had a feeling it was going to be an ugly win because they've been pressing for a win. And you can tell they calling a fair catch from the kickoff. They worried about fumbling the ball. So I got to wait and see next week.
See, that's the thing about it though, because they kept saying that this game was going to be used as a measuring stick, right? For that's what they were calling it because it was based upon how they played the last 3 games. This game technically looked like the Seahawks game, but they just won it.
They actually look better. It is no, you're right. It looked the same.
It looked like the same game. Like they kept giving the Seahawks chances to get back in the game, except for Drew Lock actually closed it out. And Tyrod Taylor's situation was, well, it happened. That's all I'm gonna
So
say.
many throws. Dang.
Yeah, like Drew Lock was more on point. Let's put it like that. But the one big play to Darren Waller was on Bradbury. Again, like it makes no sense. But they could definitely figure it out next week. You know, they coming up against Gannon. It's in, I think that one's in Arizona. No, they host Arizona. They got another home game. So Gannon's gonna come there. They probably be more prepared because a lot of the players were coming out saying like, we're happy we won, but we don't like our performance. So we'll see.
Man, Gannon gonna be ready defensively though. I gotta tell you that right now. Gannon
Oh,
be
we
blitzing
know.
Hurts like a mud.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Buddha Bacon and them boys gonna be ready
They're
going
gonna be
into
blitzing
Philly.
Hurts. But yeah, so we'll see.
We
Like,
gonna see the link. That was funny, though. That was funny.
I
But
mean,
we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, man, and we're gonna come right back. You know, make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe, become a member. Because we gotta talk about that Monday night game. I know, Dave. I know it happened, but we gotta talk about it. And we gotta pick who we got coming out of the East and the West.
thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.